You are paying too much for electricity. Right now, this very moment, you are probably spending more than you need to every single month. And the worst part is that most people have no idea why their bill keeps climbing, what they are doing wrong, or how close they are to making a simple change that could save them hundreds of dollars before the end of the year. This is not an exaggeration. This is not a trick. What you are about to learn could completely change how you think about the energy flowing into your home, and it might be the most useful thing you watch all week. Most people assume their electric bill is mostly about how much power they use. Turn off lights, unplug devices, keep the thermostat reasonable, and your bill will take care of itself. That is what everyone tells you. That is what your parents told you. That is what every generic advice article online says. But the truth is far more complicated and far more expensive than that simple story suggests. The real reason your bill is high has almost nothing to do with how careful you are with your appliances. It has everything to do with systems, fees, and pricing structures that energy companies count on you never understanding. And once you see behind the curtain, you cannot unsee it. Here is what nobody tells you. Your electricity bill is not one simple number. It is a collection of charges, many of which have nothing to do with the actual electricity you consume. There are generation charges, transmission charges, distribution charges, environmental fees, regulatory costs, and something called demand charges that can quietly add hundreds of dollars to your monthly statement without you ever realizing it. Most people look at the total amount due and feel frustrated but helpless. They pay it and move on. But what if I told you that a significant portion of that bill is not based on how much energy you use, but on how your home connects to the grid, what kind of rate plan you are on, and whether you have ever bothered to ask the right questions? That is where the real savings live. If you found this video useful so far, consider subscribing because there is so much more critical information coming that you do not want to miss. The dangerous part is that the energy industry has designed their billing systems to be almost impossible to decipher. They use language that sounds official but means almost nothing to the average person. Words like tariff, kilowatt hour, capacity tag, and pass-through costs get thrown around like you are supposed to already know what they mean. Most people nod along and pay their bill because they feel too overwhelmed to dig deeper. That confusion is not accidental. It is intentional. The more confused you are, the less likely you are to challenge the charges. And that silence costs you real money every single month. Now let me explain something that most people never hear. There are two different types of electricity rate plans, and the one you are probably on is designed to make you pay more. The first type is a fixed rate plan where the price per kilowatt hour stays the same no matter what happens in the energy market. The second type is a variable rate plan where the price can go up and down based on market conditions, time of day, and seasonal demand. Most people are on variable rate plans without even knowing it, and here is why that is a problem. When demand spikes, like during a heat wave in the middle of summer, the price per kilowatt hour can jump dramatically. Your air conditioner runs more, you use more electricity, and the price per unit also goes up. You get hit twice. This is where people go wrong. They focus on reducing their usage while ignoring the fact that the price they pay for every single kilowatt hour can vary wildly based on factors they never knew existed. But that is not even the worst part. There's a third type of plan that almost nobody discusses, and it could cut your bill dramatically if you qualify. Time of use plans charge you different rates depending on when you use electricity during the day. Peak hours, usually between 4 and 9 in the evening, carry the highest prices. Off-peak hours, typically late night and early morning, carry dramatically lower prices. If you can shift some of your biggest energy uses like laundry, dishwashing, or charging electric vehicles to those cheaper off-peak windows, you can save a remarkable amount over the course of a year. But here is the catch. You need to actually know whether you are on a time of use plan, and most utility companies do not volunteer this information. You have to ask. You have to dig. You have to be the kind of person who refuses to accept the default. The other major mistake almost everyone makes involves their rate plan renewal. When your contract expires, your utility company does not automatically move you to the best available rate. Instead, they often roll you into a default plan that is more expensive than what you were paying before. This is where people get caught. They never get a renewal notice. They never compare prices. They just keep paying whatever appears on the bill, month after month, year after year, getting slowly and silently gouged by a system that counts on their complacency. And by the time people understand this, they have often wasted hundreds of dollars that they could have kept in their own pockets. What happens next is something you need to understand clearly. There are companies out there that specialize in helping homeowners find better electricity plans. They compare rates across multiple providers in your area, identify plans that match your actual usage patterns, and negotiate on your behalf. Some of them work for commissions from the energy providers, but a growing number operate as independent agents who charge a flat fee for their service. Either way, the point is the same. You can potentially save 15, 20, or even 30% on your electricity bill simply by making one phone call and asking someone to look under the hood of your current plan. Most people never make that call. They just keep paying the default. Here's a hypothetical example that makes this real. Imagine a family of 4 living in a modest home. They use about 1,000 kilowatt hours per month, and they pay about 14 cents per kilowatt hour. Their monthly bill comes to roughly $140. But if they switch to a better plan at 11 cents per kilowatt hour, their bill would drop to around $110. That is $30 saved every month, $360 saved every year, and over the span of 10 years, nearly $4,000. $4,000 that could go toward a family vacation, a college fund, emergency savings, or simply making life a little easier. This is not fantasy. This is basic math that most people never bother to do. The reason this hits so hard is because it requires almost no effort to fix. You do not need to buy new appliances. You do not need to overhaul your lifestyle. You do not need to install solar panels or replace your windows. You just need to ask one simple question. What rate plan am I on, and is there a better option available? That question could change your financial future in ways you cannot imagine. If this makes sense to you so far, smash that like button and keep watching because the most important information is still ahead. But there is more to understand about how your home actually consumes electricity. Most people assume their biggest energy expense is their air conditioner in summer or their heater in winter. And while those are certainly significant, there is something else that quietly drains energy around the clock that most people never think about. Standby power, also called phantom load, is the electricity consumed by devices that are plugged in but not actually in use. Your television when it is turned off but still connected to the wall. Your coffee maker when it is not brewing. Your phone charger when the phone is not connected. Your computer when it is in sleep mode. Each one draws a tiny amount of power, but when you add them all up across every device in your home, the total can be shocking. Studies have shown that phantom load can account for up to 10% of your total electricity consumption. 10% of your bill is going to power nothing useful. It is just running in the background like a silent drain on your bank account. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple. Unplug devices when you are not using them. Use power strips that you can turn off completely with one switch. Enable smart power strips on your entertainment center so that peripheral devices only draw power when the main device is on. These tiny behavioral changes cost you nothing and take almost no effort, but they add up to real savings over the course of a year. If every household in America unplugged just 3 devices that are not in use, the collective savings would be measured in billions of dollars. But you have to start with your own home. Another thing that gets overlooked constantly is the age and condition of your appliances. An old refrigerator from the 1990s can use twice as much electricity as a new energy-efficient model. An air conditioner that has not been serviced in years will run longer and harder to achieve the same cooling effect, burning through energy and money in the process. A dryer with a clogged vent works much harder than it should, using more electricity and also becoming a fire hazard. These are not abstract risks. These are real, measurable drains on your monthly budget that you can see and feel in your bill. If an appliance is more than 15 years old, it might be time to seriously consider replacement, not just for the energy savings, but for the safety benefits as well. Now, let me address something that many people feel confused about. They hear advice about reducing their electric bill, and they think it means they have to sacrifice comfort, suffer through hot summers, or live in the dark. That is exactly the wrong way to think about it. Cutting your electricity bill is not about punishing yourself. It is about eliminating waste. It is about making sure that every dollar you send to the utility company is actually paying for something valuable to you and your family. When you cut out the phantom loads, optimize your rate plan, and run your appliances efficiently, you are not reducing your quality of life. You are just stopping the money from leaking out of your pockets. And once you see how much you have been wasting, you cannot go back to ignoring it. There is also the matter of understanding your usage data. Most utility companies now offer online portals where you can see your hourly or daily electricity consumption broken down in detail. This information is gold. It shows you exactly when your home uses the most energy, which appliances are driving your costs, and where your opportunities for savings are biggest. But most people never log into these portals. They pay the bill, close the website, and forget about it until the next month. That is a massive missed opportunity. The data is right there, waiting for you to use it, and it can reveal patterns you would never notice otherwise. You might discover that your basement dehumidifier is running constantly and costing you more than your air conditioning. You might find that a certain room in your house uses far more energy than it should. You might realize that you have been on the wrong rate plan for years without anyone telling you. The most important thing to understand is that you have more power than you think. The energy industry profits when you remain passive, uninformed, and accepting of whatever shows up on your bill. But you do not have to be that person. You can make calls, compare prices, change plans, and take control of your energy costs. It might feel uncomfortable at first, like you are stepping into a world you do not fully understand. But the discomfort is worth it. Every dollar you save is a dollar that stays in your family budget, a dollar that can go towards something that actually matters to you. Think about what you could do with an extra $300 this year. You could take a weekend trip with your family. You could pay down a credit card. You could start building an emergency fund. You could buy something nice for yourself that you have been putting off for months. That money is real, and it is sitting there waiting for you to claim it. All you have to do is decide that you are done paying more than you need to and start taking the steps to fix it. The final thing I want you to remember is that this information is only valuable if you act on it. Watching this video, nodding along, and then going back to your old habits will accomplish nothing. But saving it, sharing it with someone you care about, and actually making one phone call to explore your rate options, that is where transformation happens. Every person who learns this and takes action becomes someone who keeps more of their money, makes smarter decisions, and protects their family from unnecessary financial stress. If you found this video helpful, if you feel like you learned something that could genuinely change your financial situation, then please do me a favor. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Maybe it is your parent, your neighbor, your coworker, or a friend who is always complaining about their electric bill, but never does anything about it. You could be the reason they finally take action and start saving real money. That is what this is really about. Protecting the people you care about from a system that is designed to extract as much as possible from everyone who stays silent. You are not silent anymore. Now go get what is rightfully yours.